Okay,
But
so
really, ballot counting is the most involved in that role.
but like if somebody sends you a message and you're busy talking, I I would maybe think, well, I could handle that for you, but will I even see that if somebody sends you a message or something like that? Does it work
If
like
they
that?
send it to me privately, you won't see it. But if somebody just asks a general question like, I don't
I
know,
see.
what time's the next meeting or something, then you can just
Jump on
chime in
that
and
one.
answer. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
All right. We are on, everybody. Hello in Zoom land. All right, we've got a lot of things to cover today. We've got 2 speakers and one speech is going to be 7 to 9 minutes. So I am going to be moving very swiftly here. I just have some announcements. One huge thing, and correct me, Lucille, but I believe this might be the first time ever in the history of Expressions Unlimited that we're going to have a mentorship chair. Is that correct? Oh, we are just breaking records here. So I want to introduce Lucille. She has volunteered to be our mentorship chair, and anything mentorship related, she is going to take care of. If you have ideas or if you want to mentor, she is going to be the one that's going to be handling that. So yes, thank you so much, Lucille. Also, we have our speech contest coming up on October 16. We already have 4 contestants, and we know the more the merrier. So if anybody else wants to participate, please let me or Pat know ASAP. And on that note, we are going to need a lot of volunteers that day on the 16th to make it run very smoothly. And one of those things is to have a speech contest chair. And if anybody is,
I'm glad I ate it. Soon
Angel, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Hello. I'm sorry. I'm late.
Hello.
No, shut
Hello,
up now.
hello.
Sorry.
Okay. And so if you can volunteer for that, please let me know. Could really, 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 really use your help. As a matter of fact, this Saturday, there's going to be a training session from 1 to 3:30, I believe. So please let me know ASAP. And also, whether or not you are going to be part of the speech contest this Saturday at 10 o'clock for 1 hour, there's going to be a speech from last year's winner. So he's going to be talking about some tips regarding speeches, just in general, as well as for the contest. But I'm sure each and every one of us can pick up some really good tips from this person. His name is Aaron. I don't know his last name offhand, but it's from 10 to 11. And he, at first, when he joined Toastmasters, he considered himself an introvert. And so some of us who consider ourselves introverts, can you imagine ever becoming the world champion speech contest winner? Pretty tough thing to do. Pretty tough thing to imagine. So I think he's going to have some really, really good tips. And if you want to learn from him, watch that. I'll put the link on there in the chat later. And roll sheet. I sent out the roll sheet. I'll redo it again in case for the people that just signed in. If you can sign up for next week's rolls, that'd be very helpful. And also Paul, if you can make a quick announcement.
Dues?
Yeah.
Yes, dues are due. I have some dues from about 5 people. You can either send a check to my address that's in the email. If you need it again, I'm happy to send it. Just drop me a line, say I don't have that address. Or you can ask for a invoice through Square, and that comes via your credit or debit. You will pay that online. And there's just a $2 processing fee if you choose to do that. That we'd obviously get reimbursed for. That's the dues announcement.
All right, thank you, Paul. And they're due the end of the month. And one thing that's important about getting dues paid on time is that we do get points towards President's Distinguished Club Award. So if we can all make the extra effort to pay Paul within the next week or two, that actually it's already past the halfway point. let's try to have it all paid within a week. And that way we're not all stressing out the last minute at the end of the month. Okay, and with that, our theme today is play. And the word of the day is delight. And I'm not going to go into table topics just yet. But now I'm going to introduce our first speaker. And what Devin does is she puts us all in speaker view. And as an individual, you can toggle between gallery and speaker view. But she's going to put us on speaker view so we can see the speakers, in full view. The speakers, however, Paul and Pat, please remember to put it on gallery view so that you can see the timer. I did not do that last week and I went over time. So make sure you put the speakers on gallery view. All right, so our first speaker is Paul.
Angeles.
Okay, Angeles, you had a question?
I'm sorry. I also have I have a comment. You could also pin my video so it's on top so you can see it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good point. You can also pin. Thank you so much for mentioning that. Okay, so Paul's title is What's Your Perspective? That's the title of his speech. And it's 7 to 9 minutes. It's a non-manual speech. And his objective is that he's going to be facilitating a discussion. And he wants us to evaluate how well is he keeping the discussion focused? Is he keeping people engaged? Is he providing opportunity for all voices to be heard? So keep those things in mind when you evaluate. And let's all welcome Paul Barsh.
Thank you. Hey, before we get started on time, I have to do two things. One, I want to make sure that everybody knows how to use the chat feature, because we will be using the chat feature today. So on the bottom of if you mouse down, if you have a desktop, you should see that chat feature. You can open that up and we will be chatting with everyone today. If you are on a mobile, you can tap the screen to make the control bars appear. Tap on participants at the bottom of the list, tap chat, and that should work for your mobile. Let me share my screen. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. I've been talking a lot about philosophy. Last week's table topics, I talked about philosophy. I've been reading a lot about philosophy lately. Maybe it's COVID. Maybe I'm just bored. I don't know. I thought it'd be interesting to discuss what's your perspective. And I'd like to take us through some visuals. And I'd like you to think about these visuals. I'm going to try to go slowly enough through these visuals that you can think about them. And then we'll have a facilitated discussion using the chat feature. Here we go. Rick, give me a thumbs up if you can see that. Give me 1 second.
Did not move.
How about that?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Excellent. So we're going to just walk through these visuals. Ready? Thank you for indulging me on that. So as I said, let's do a chat on using that chat feature. And I'd like to see, and I'd like to ask you, what's your perspective? What did you experience today? Using the chat feature, would you let me know what your experience was? Angel, you said it was awesome.
Yes, very enjoyable.
Yep. Deanna, positive. Catherine, very good. Angeles, we live in a small world. Pat Hartley says it's interesting. Yep. What life should be like reminds me of the Twilight Zone. Yeah, we're going to 1,000 feet. Gives you different experiences. Yep, the perspective got wider and wider. Thank you, Stacy. Travel, yeah, that's interesting, Megan. Yep, it was about perspective and how small we are. That's what Jerry said. Yeah, I like all that. Move to the next question. What do you think the author of this book, this pictorial book, is trying to say? Put your chat in there. What do you think the author is trying to say? Step back and see the bigger picture. I like that, Jesse. And we're all small. Yes, perspective depends where you are. Rick, world peace. Okay, yep, could be. Kathy says how we visualize things. Yeah, Deanna, don't assume, be open-minded. Yep. Pat says don't sweat the small stuff. Jerry says to expand your mind. Oh, I like that one, Angel. Details are hidden in the details. Yeah, Devin, your perspective could be worlds different from someone else's. I really like that. Corey says think about others. Megan says we're not that important. That's an interesting, that could be what the author's trying to say. Yep. Zooming in and zooming out. Like that. Let's keep going. Is this a children's book? What do you think? Angel says it's not a children's book. Okay. What else? Stacy says it could be. Maybe. Angeles thinks it is. All right. Anita says it is, but it applies to anyone. Yep. Angel says it could be for corporate training. That's interesting. I'll tell you about that. It actually is being used for that. I think it might be. Yes. Any other thoughts? Is this a children's book? Kind of mixed on that one. Any age? All right. I think we have time for one more question. This one might be a little bit tough. What do you think this book says about culturally diverse points of view? What do you think this book says about culturally diverse points of view? Any thoughts? I don't see. Oh, there it goes. It says it comes from anyone. Yes. We're all in this together. Shows a lot of cultures. We're all part of the same book. Cultures make up the world, but we should be open to other cultures. Yeah, I like all that. I think that's great. Let me conclude with some thoughts that I have about this. I appreciate everybody's feedback on it. That was really cool. Some thoughts that I had as I reviewed this book, and yes, it is viewed for corporate training. Sometimes when we're confronted with a challenge, I think it's important to think deeply and to rethink what we think about it. And as you saw with the book, what's in front of us might not be exactly as it appears. You might not be seeing the whole picture. So there are benefits to moving in and out from where your perspective is. I also thought it was interesting that each person has their own perspective and story to tell. Each person is worth listening to. And by doing so, you might get a broader picture of the world and maybe the challenge in front of you. Different people, different perspectives, different angles at looking at that challenge. And this is a question that we didn't get to, but I think it might be interesting to just ponder. What's true for you might not exactly be true for others. And I think that hopefully that book showed you. So with that, I'm going to return control back over to our Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Paul. Okay, 1 minute, everybody, to do your eval. Either text it to Paul directly, privately, or email it to him. Ten more seconds. Okay, pen and paper's down. Ah, that brings us back memories, doesn't it? Okay, our next speaker, help me welcome Pat Hartley. And his speech is actually titled differently than what's on the agenda. His title is, Let Me Tell You Your Story with Video. And he is on level 3, project 1. So good job on starting up a new level there. And his objective is to practice, I'm sorry, it's also the innovative path. His objective is to practice developing and presenting a proposal. So help me welcome Pat.
Thank you, everyone. My objective was to develop and present a proposal. First of all, what is a proposal? Toastmasters says that a proposal is a formal or informal a proposal can be formal or informal. A formal proposal is appropriate when a company expectations are highly professional and the solution has far-reaching consequences. For example, our Toastmasters group, we were looking for a way to recruit new members. What our great officers proposed that we use online social media and calling old members to try and recruit. This proposal worked because we grew a few members. The first step in creating a proposal is identifying a need. We identified that we needed to grow our membership, and we created a plan to increase that membership. Now I will present a proposal of my own. I'm Pat Hartley, founder of a video production company called Workflow Media in Oceanside. If you need to have your wedding filmed or create a commercial for your brand, my company can capture those precious moments or highlight all the qualities and elements of your company to amplify your company. We create not just customers, but we can create a movement behind your brand. If anyone has a company or a product that they're selling, you can put it in the chat, and I can maybe answer your questions. Or is anyone getting married? Okay. Forbes magazine says that video content, a company that uses video content experiences a 41% increase in traffic through their web services compared to others who don't. So why would you select me to film your video? The three things I will present is the planning, the filming, and the editing are all carefully executed and delivered on time. The planning, because I understand and value your time greatly, we conduct a pre-production meeting to gather all the sources, gather all the info, the contacts, so we can have it all ready in the process. We go over what cameras are best to ensure that we have 2 of each of the equipment, so if one malfunctions, the work still goes on. The work is saved and archived in a 1, 2, 3 process. You have 1 copy on 2 different hard drives in 3 different locations. Deadlines are always met, because once it's decided, I always meet them. The filming, as far as the filming goes, most of the time we can capture all the moments that we need for the video in one day. I can use detailed shot lists and storyboards detailing maybe shots of food or buildings or people using your product to highlight all those qualities of your company. If it's a wedding, I can get those moments of grandma crying as Jerry renews his vows. All these details are carefully planned and executed. The editing process, I worked at a TV station for 2 years, and as an Emmy-nominated editor, my job is to make sure the story is amazing and as high quality as possible. I choose the music and the video clips to use so that it takes you on the most compelling and engaging journey possible. I can provide sound effects, graphics, titles, captions, your logos, your call to action. To get the most people watching your video, we can make sure it's tagged, or we can make sure there's several versions for different social media platforms, sometimes just a short video, 30 seconds. Several of the videos I have done for local bands have gotten thousands of views. The pricing, my pricing follows industry standards of the day. After we issue a fixed quote, we require 25% down and then 75% after you've signed off on all the video. We allow 3 revisions that are included in the proposal, and any additional time will be at standard rates. I look forward to answering any questions about if you have, and I hope we can deliver you and your company more exposure as we focus your story and your message and record your story as best we can. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Pat. 1 minute for everybody to do evaluations. Ten more seconds. Okay, if you guys can also vote for the best speaker and send it privately to Rick. That way he won't be inundated later on, so just give him your vote right now. All right, with that, I would like to introduce our general evaluator who will be introducing our evaluators. Lucille Shaw.
Thank you, Deanna. We have two great evaluators today. Our first evaluator, who will be evaluating Paul's speech, is Jerry Tettleman. Please help me welcome Jerry.
Thank you, Lucille. Paul, that was a very interesting speech. It was unusual, and I think it was very well suited for Zoom. And I liked your use of visualization, the use of the book, but also the way you did it on the computer, flipping through the different pages. It was quite different, and it took us on an interesting journey. It was kind of like when people show you optical illusions, that kind of thing, that gets people's interest, that just, gets you to think. Having the chat and having the interaction between the audience and you, I thought was really good, because that's something that all speakers want, is they want to have that engagement of the audience, a back and forth if possible. And it's not always possible, but I think the way you did it with the chat was creative. I think that way you're not taking questions. It's a different technique, and it keeps it a little easier for you. You don't lose control where somebody else is giving a speech versus you giving the speech. So I thought that was great. As far as the conclusion, when you ended, I wasn't quite sure the call to action, what exactly it was, other than to expand your mind maybe and expand your philosophy. I think that's always a good thing, to get people to think different. And so I was impressed with that. But I think generally speaking, it was a very nice presentation. It was different. It was creative. It made you think. It gave you a little, some techniques that we don't normally use, and well suited for the type of, presentation you're giving. I think you've made that adaptation from doing it in person to doing it on a computer and actually using the things you can do differently on the computer. So all in all, I thought it was a great job. Thanks.
Thank you, Jerry. Our second evaluator, who will be evaluating Pat's speech today, is Devin. Please help me welcome Devin.
Thank you, Lucille. Wonderful job, Pat. It was very interesting to learn a little bit more about your business and what you do. I think for the proposal itself, I think I would have just got right into it. I don't think we needed the intro into what a proposal was. I think for this one, we could have just given you a little more time to give us the meat of the proposal. So I would jump in there and make that a little bit more impactful to grab your potential buyer. I think what you did really well was you told us there were 3 areas you were going to cover. And then what you did the best was when you injected your personality into it. So, grandma crying, you want to get those magical moments, the exposure, and you had some props. I think that's where you really your personality shone through, and that's where we got a sense of what it would be like to work with you, and it would be fun and engaging. So I think, focusing a little bit more on that and a little less on, some of the technical details, because I think at that point you're just trying to get them on board. You can go into the specifics of how it will work later, but you're trying to get them to want to invest in your company. Again, the same kind of thing with the call to action at the end. You had one, but it maybe needed a little bit more punch to get them to follow through with the next step of engaging your business. But overall, it was really great. You had a nice structure, and look forward to hearing more about it.
Thank you, Devin. Now I'm going to turn over the meeting to our Toastmaster, Deanna.
Thank you, Lucille. I forgot to get our timers report. So Angeles, can you give us a timers report on the speakers? I know you guys already voted, but
they both qualified.
Okay, good.
Pat got 5 minutes and 29 seconds, and Paul 8 minutes and 48 seconds.
Okay, great. And is there a timers report for the evaluators too?
Jerry, Devin and Jerry got both 1 minute and 42 seconds.
So they both qualified then?
Yeah, they're both
Just
qualified.
enough. Yay. Okay. All right. So please vote for the best evaluator. Give that to Rick. And with that, I am going to bring up our table topics master, and this is her first time doing it. So I am super excited to hear about playing and what delightful things we're going to hear about today. So please help me welcome Anita.
Thank you, Deanna. I feel blessed. I feel blessed to be on this side of table topics this time instead of a question answer. Anyway, the theme of the meeting is play, and so we're going to continue that with table topics and talk about play and the importance of it in our life. Starting out by saying, oh, and the word of the day is delight. So please use that in your answer. So I'm going to start off by saying, go fly a kite. I used to say that years ago to my little brother when I'd want him to just leave. But really, when you think about it, flying a kite is an iconic example of playing. You think about running and laughing and being immersed in something, even if it can be challenging and sometimes frustrating. Play is to engage in an activity for enjoyment and recreation. The definition goes on to say mostly by children. Of course, mostly by children, because as adults, we are involved in our responsibilities and things that we're doing during the day, even though it has been proven over and over again that playtime, a break, recess, for all of us, no matter our age, is very, very important for creativity, focus, and just to put us in a better mood. So with that, we're going to start with kites. I think we've all had experiences making or flying a kite, or a stunt kite, maybe even a kite surfing thing, whatever they call them. So let's see. Catherine, have you had an experience flying a kite? And if so, flying a kite or making one, whatever. And if so, how did that feel as part of a break or recess, getting away from it all?
Hi, this is Catherine, and I am in delight to discuss this conversation. I remember when my grandchildren were little, and we would try to fly a kite, and it would go really high, and then it'd come really down. And so we'd run, and I'd be hopping and skipping, and they just like, their faces were such a delight. It was just, it made me so happy. And then I'd pretend to fall down, and I'd be laughing. And it was just a time that was just free, that you could go and just say, there's nothing wrong with anything right now except to be in this delightful time with my grandkids, my kids, so they could watch me be goofy. And so I'm really excited that I was able to experience that and have the delight in my grandchildren. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine. That made me laugh and smile and bring back a lot of great memories. So many times we get away or take a break with a hobby or something that we like to do on the side, whether we're adults or children. Megan, do you have a hobby that you enjoy in order to get away and take a break from responsibilities of life? Megan, you're on mute. Don't forget to unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you for that question. With COVID, it has sort of put a little halt on my what I do to stay active. But in order to stay active, what I have turned to, what really is a delight for me to do, is for me to swim. I like swimming laps. I used to be a competitive swimmer, and I just love that. But because of COVID and all the problem with trying to schedule your time to use the pool, and when there is a lane available, which there never is, but to go out, and the ocean doesn't have a time limit, so we can just go out and use the ocean, and we'll swim. We swim there and get our exercise in for that. Did I answer the question?
You did. Thank you so much, Megan. I really appreciate it. And swimming is a great way to get away from it all, I think. So I have some friends who love to travel, and of course they're not traveling very far right now, but they figure out their trip and research every detail and every side trip and build great big notebooks, and then they go on their trip. And so they actually get away physically from their responsibilities. We can't really do that right now, but I know all of us have taken trips, whether it's locally to SeaWorld or around the world. So let's say, Corey, is there a trip, either a day trip or longer, that you've been on that helped you get away from it all? And how did you feel when you got back to the reality, back to home?
I think that's a great question. I really think it's important to put in your schedule a time for play, a time for travel, a time for rest. There's only so much that you can do for work and for stress and responsibilities. I think it's really important that you schedule time to do that type of play. For me, I love travel. I love getting lost in the moment. And I really think about the times that the best times of my life were times where I was lost in the moment. I was consumed about what I was doing, not about what I was thinking about, but what I was doing. Recalling when my son was born, when both of my sons were born, everything stopped. It was just in that moment. When I proposed to my wife, everything stopped. It was just in that moment. When I'm riding a dirt bike, everything stops. It's right in that moment. And if you take your eyes off that dirt, you know, where you're going, you're going to fall and it's going to hurt bad. So you have to be lost in that moment. And I think that's the greatest thing. And travel does that as well, to be lost in that moment where you can spend time with people that you don't know, and maybe fly a kite and maybe be on a sailboat. It's those moments that are really the best in life.
Thank you, Corey. I love that you got lost in the moment. I love that phrase. And that actually brings us into the next question, because really true play, meaningful play, you're immersed in it and you get caught up in what they call the flow. And it's the same thing that Corey's talking about, lost in the moment, where time stands still. And I know it's happened to all of us, either if we're watching a movie or doing some kind of extreme sport, or like me when I'm driving on the freeway and I go right past that off-ramp. So let's see, Maya, have you ever been lost in a moment? If you have, tell us about it, and if there was a humorous consequence to it.
Is that me?
That's you, and don't forget, if you can, use the word delight in your answer.
Okay, I'll try. The times that I remember being lost in the moment are usually moments where I need my full attention. Two things that kind of come to mind are hobbies of mine, yoga and kickboxing. With yoga, I try to focus on the breath and really be present in the moment. That's one of the things that they really want you to focus on is your breath and being present. And so I definitely try to use that time to really be there. With kickboxing, I would say that if you're not present in the moment, you're probably going to get hit. And so it's a very healthy thing to stay in the moment during those times. And that's it.
That was great.
I could use the light.
Good answer. Well, you just did right now, right? So that kind of brings me to the next question also, because sometimes play can involve being challenged. Some of us like to be challenged, and that gets our mind off of the everyday, or competition, or both. And so it can be competition from a board game to maybe finishing an American Ninja Warrior course. I don't know. But Jessie, have you been, do you like to be challenged to get away from it all, or or compete in some way? And if so, tell us how. And if not, just tell us your thoughts on that.
Thank you, Anita, for that question. And I think it's such a delight to be able to be in a competitive situation. For example, when you're in these speech contests and watching a few of them online, as I've done, it's been great to see all the creativity that comes out and all the perfection. And for myself, I know I have signed up for the next speech competition. And you know what? There's an old saying, I choose to make it healthy, and I choose to make it fun and easy. I choose to make it fun and easy. So if I can turn it into play, that's what I intend to do. The other time I experience play, and even it is in competition with myself. And I'm challenging myself to write a story right now about a few things, and I can get lost in the moment writing at times, and I love that, and it makes it like play. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessie. Congratulations on the speech contest. That's pretty awesome. Deanna, I'm not sure, do I keep the time, or how much time do we still have? Or
you have time for one more?
Okay. Well, being in Southern California, I know a lot of us like to spend time outside, and we play or do our adult recess outside. So Stacy, is there anything that you like to do outside that helps you get away from the realities of every day and the responsibilities? Stacy, you're still on mute.
Oh, okay, thank you. I'm out of practice. Yes, there is something that I love to do outside, and that is ride my bicycle. And I've always been an owner of a bicycle, and I always keep one, mainly because I do want to get out. And I'm fortunate to live close to a park that I can just go down the street and go right into the park and ride about 4.5 miles of trails. And it just feels so free to be able to go whisking down the street and whisking through the park and seeing everything a lot faster than walking, because I also walk, but I think the bike riding is a whole lot more fun. It's just a delight to get on my bicycle, and it's even more of a delight if I have someone to go with me. So I invite all of you, any of you, we have 2 bicycles. If anybody wants to ride with me, call me up or text me and let me know, and we can go for a bike ride. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. What a nice thing to do, to live near a park where you can ride like that. Thank you. Well, that's the end of table topics. Thank you all for participating.
That was fantastic, Anita. That was excellent. Okay, really quickly. Timers report. Can you tell us who qualified?
So everyone qualified. That's Catherine, Megan, Corey, Myra, Jesse, and Stacy.
Fantastic. And Jesse, can you tell us who used the word of the day? Oh, you're muted.
I think everyone used the word of the day, except tell me if I'm wrong. I didn't hear Corey, and I didn't hear Maya. Can you confirm or deny?
I didn't say it. I thought the word of the day was kite for some reason.
Okay, so.
I don't think I said it.
What?
I don't think I said it. I said it at the end, but.
That's right.
I think it counts.
That was a good try. Usually what they recommend is try to use it right in the beginning. If you use it right in the beginning, then you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so please vote for your favorite the best table topic speech, and that would be either, we have Catherine, we have Megan, and we have Jesse and Stacy. Since Corey and Myra didn't use the word of the day, I'm gonna say they're not qualified, sorry. So please vote for your table topics person. Send it to Rick. All right, and I am gonna ask the counter. Catherine, do you prefer Catherine or Kathy? You can let us know. And also let us, if you give us an counters report, that would be fantastic.
Okay. Thank you. I go by Kathy. Kathy's fine.
Okay, thank you.
So do I do also the ones that did the table topper too? Or
Yes.
just, okay. So I'll go down my list here. Corey. Yeah, this is my first time.
So
be gentle.
You got the floor.
Corey, 3 Megan, 2 Stacy, no, sorry about that. Anita, 2 and Myra, 4
And did you also count the ahs or filler words for the speeches? Yeah,
the speakers.
Actually, it's everybody.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was 2 for Pat. And that's it.
Very good. Thank you so much. Good job. Good job, Kathy. Okay, and now let's have a grammarian's report.
Right on, thank you. I have several phrases that I liked a lot from Pat. I liked it when you said the movement behind your brand. That was excellent. 41% increase in traffic. Very visual. And 1, 2, 3 process. Really like that, very snappy. And Emmy nominated editor, very good. Paul, I liked when you said deeply think and rethink. And you also said the broader picture of the challenge in front of you. How profound. Jerry, you know, it was just a general thing. You just flow so well with how you speak and evaluate. Devin, I liked it when you said exposure and you had some props. So that was very descriptive in a short amount of time. And very quickly, Anita, getting away from it all. Kathy, their faces were such a delight. Megan, you used to be a competitive swimmer. That was I could picture that. And Corey, best times were getting lost in the moment. And then I sort of fell off. So, but everybody did great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jesse. All right. That leaves Lucille, our general evaluator. Can you give us a general evaluation?
Sure, I can. Thank you, Deanna. First of all, I wanted to do the evaluators. I wanted to give a comment about the evaluators. I really like both of you. I can learn a lot from both of you because I'm not a really good evaluator myself. And both of you pointed out the good parts and gives very specific example of that. Jerry, I like the way you intertwine the positive and the negative. And I like it that you say what is not so good, and you just say, you know, I like it this way, I kind of like it that way. I don't really care about that. I like that. Very frank about it, and I think that we need that to improve ourselves. So I appreciate you doing that. Devin, I also like the way you started off. It's great. You know, I really like the way your creativity to Pat, but I also like it that you said too much intro, just go right straight to the meat of the proposal. I like that. And you interject. I like that you pointed out to him that you interject his own personality, and I like that because I felt that he did, and he really came out shining through that one. So thank you for that. And you both pointed out that there is a call to action, but the call to action was not so punchy or not so strong, and you pointed out, so I appreciate that. Overall, the meeting I really like. Anita, I love the table topics. I like the theme of the day, play, and I appreciate all the speakers for the table topic. I've enjoyed so much your interaction, and I also enjoyed the speeches from our speaker today, Paul. Always very creative the way you do it. I learn a lot every time you do your speech. I know I need to polish the way I present it, and you are my model in doing that. And Pat, in the beginning you stuttered a little bit, and I used to do that. You kind of hesitate, but again, as you start off and make it your own, you just shine through. Thank you. Deanna, great job. Really enjoyed it. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Lucille. Great synopsis. And Rick, are you ready? Do you have the winners?
This was my first time counting on the chat thing when it's flying by. And
yes, applause for Rick. First time.
Oh, man. I'm just guessing at this point. It was close. There was like 3 people that was. Anyways, I'm just going to guess here. No, it's a little bit more than a guess, but hopefully I'm right. The table topics was really close. I think it's Catherine. Okay. Catherine on the table topics. It was close on all 3 of them. For best speaker, well, no, I'll say best speaker. For best evaluator, another really close one. I think Devin got it. That was very close. And for best speaker, again, it was very close, and I think Paul got it. So.
All right. Thank you so much, Rick. I know as a chat monitor, it's kind of tough. You have to keep track of all the information.
And you don't know which one you've already counted or not, right? So yeah. So I got to figure out a way to do that better. But yeah.
Figure out a system for next week, Rick. Oh, hey, on that topic of chat, as a speaker, sometimes people are sending you your evaluations, and there's so much going on in the meeting, it's hard to read everything. What I would recommend you do as a speaker, or anybody, if you want to save your chat and read it later, you go to the chat icon, and then at the bottom right, there's 3 dots. If you click on that, it says Save Chat. And that's going to save the chat for today. It puts it in a folder on your desktop somewhere or on your computer. You can just try it right now. Everybody try that. And then you guys can reference
Well, it's all me today. No one else has written anything, so it'll just be me.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, for future reference.
There's nothing else to say. I was trying to participate as best I could. I gotta go,
Yes.
guys. Big kisses.
Okay. Bye, Angel. Thank you.
God bless you. Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Deanna, just
yes.
for the purpose of PR, can we have a screenshot? Devin, can
Yes.
you do it again, please? She does
Everybody.
a great screenshot. I mess up all the time.
Okay, so let's do our happy smile right now. Freeze frame.
3.
Got it? I don't know who did it. Did somebody save it?
Devin.
Okay.
And she
All right. Very
sends it to me.
Very good. All right. Really quickly, I want to recognize the folks today. And can you see the screen? Whoops. Can you see this, everybody?
Yeah.
The pathways progress chart?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so today, let's see, Pat, let's do a check mark. Level 3, project 1 accomplished. Yay. And also, Anita, this was interesting because you thought it was just going to be a speech, but your project was to be table topics master. And it just so happens that it was the same day and we got you on your second project. So good job right there. And next thing is roles for next week. Share. All right, can everybody see my screen now?
Yes.
For next week?
Yeah.
All right, cool. We need, okay, so next week we have one speaker, an out counter, and we have a joke master. We have a lot of roles to fill. So can you shout out your name and what role you'd like to take?
Table topper, Kathy Everhart.
Thank you, Kathy. Awesome.
I'll try it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I also want to welcome Kathy and Angeles are our new members. Woohoo!
The check's in the mail.
Hey.
The check's in the mail.
Cool. And Myra, we can't wait for you to join us.
I can be the general evaluator.
General evaluator, Stacy, thank you.
I can for Marion.
For Marion. All right, is that Angeles?
Yes.
Awesome.
I'll be timer. Jessie.
Timer. Jesse, thank you, Jesse.
I can do Toastmaster.
Toastmaster, yay, Pat. We need a speaker and an evaluator, 2 evaluators.
Yeah, I can evaluate somebody, whoever you want.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Paul. Somebody step up for speaker. Who hasn't done a speech in a while?
Who's doing pathways? Stacy.
I saw that it wasn't a check mark for my icebreaker, so I would do the second project.
So that means she says yes.
Can I put you for speaker and we'll find a general evaluator?
Let's see if I can figure something out. Yeah.
Woohoo! Thank you. Stacy, now general evaluators open. We need an evaluator and a general evaluator. Let's help Pat out so we don't have to do this online.
I could be an evaluator.
Oh, is that Jerry?
Yes, Jerry.
Yay, thank you, Jerry. Oops. All right, GE, one last one.
I'll do Watcher next week.
Okay, great. Thank you, Megan.
I can do the general. It's Rick.
Rick, yay! Thank you, Rick. Hey!
I'll be ballot. I'll be chat.
Hey, awesome. You guys are amazing. Okay, thank you so much. That's wonderful. Okay, Saturday, if you guys want to attend that seminar, let me just do a cut and paste really quickly on the chat.